Hello, Two Brain World. I am Cohen, owner of Locomotion Fitness, longtime Two Brain business client, here to talk to you about how to live a rich life as a gym owner. Today, we're going to talk about the staff training and evaluation cycle. So this is basically what I do on a monthly, quarterly basis to make sure that my coaches are delivering things in a way that is up to the standard that we set. And I use the word I there, but this is really a we scenario. So my GM is involved, my head coach is involved. We want to make sure that anyone that is in a leadership position is set up to give feedback, to give guidance, and to help coaches along to live in line with your mission, vision, and values. So there are really three big pieces to this cycle. The first piece is some sort of staff training or development. And really what prompted this video is that we did that today, and it got my gears turning on how all of these pieces fit together. I'll come back to what we talked about and how to run a staff training and development here in a little bit. Second piece is staff evaluations. So we gave people training. Now we need to evaluate, are they implementing that training in the way that we intended it to be? And this is just like if you've got an athlete in your class and you give them a cue and then just walk away. How do you know if that cue worked or that they got any better? And I'm sure you know that, right? You give a cue and then you stick around to watch what happens so that you can give them further feedback or guidance. That's the same deal here. If you do a staff training and just walk away, how do you know that they're implementing any of that stuff? So that's number two, is the eval. The third component is our career roadmap meetings. And career roadmap is sitting down with your staff one-on-one and talking about what they want in their life, how their career is able to contribute to what they want. How much money do they want to make? What do we need to do in order to make that much money, right? It's helping them map out the path at your business so that they can live their perfect day. So let's circle back first and talk about our staff training. And I'm going to use the sheet that we set up today. And today we just wanted a very general overview of how we're going to run a class. So I've been able to scale and grow my business pretty quickly. Unfortunately, as a leader, I made a mistake, which was to focus on sales, marketing, business development, and I let our product be good enough. I let it go by the wayside. Luckily, our environment and the way we make people feel is incredible. But technically speaking, our coaching got away from how I wanted it delivered. And I didn't have the bandwidth or capacity, as I promised my staff I would, to develop them as coaches and give them continuing education. Thank goodness I was able to find Coach Mike, who is my head coach and who is doing an incredible job at ensuring that we are aligned with amazing coaching and our product is top notch. And so today we wanted to just do a very quick overview. And this is what I advise for you if you've never done a staff training or development before, is start big picture and then we can sort of dial it in from there. And we organize this just like we would for a class, so it sort of flows with like a normal class would flow. So if you're looking for an idea on staff training, maybe just follow along with this. So first thing was, what are the pre-class considerations? How should the room be set up? What do we need to think about for floor space? What if we have a really big class? What can we do? So just thinking through things ahead of time. Then we talked about housekeeping. So what are the announcements that we need to make? How can we break the ice? How can we make people feel comfortable when they first walk in? For us, energy, the way the gym feels, is more important than performance. So we really harped on making the room feel comfortable and engaging and making sure that people are having fun. Then we went into elements of an effective warm-up and making sure that all of the coaches understand not only what is needed in a warm-up, but how can they optimize those warm-ups for a given workout? So prepping movement patterns and talking about warm-ups and games and stuff like that. And this is a great opportunity to break the room into breakout groups. And that's my advice for anything that you are doing group training wise. As much as possible, instead of staying in one big group, talk about an idea, break people apart, have them work through an exercise or activity, bring their answer back to the group, and then discuss. It's just so much more engaging than me standing here at the front of the room dictating what I want done, right? Like, we want to make sure that we're involving people and they feel bought into the process. From there, we went into strength and skill work. So what are we focusing on in that strength and skill work? How can we work progressions and regressions to make sure that no matter where somebody is in their membership and how long they've been with us, they feel included and they continue to grow, right? If somebody's been here for 3 years, if we're just on standard progressions, they might feel bored. They've seen this a million times before. So how can we spice that up? After that, we talked about programming and talking about ways that we could run classes that are in line with what we call the 5 pillars of health at Locomotion. So not only focusing on fitness, but nutrition, mindset, recovery, relationships, ways that we can pair athletes up and ensure that we're developing those relationships with one another, because ultimately that's the lifeblood of our gym. And then going into the different class types, right? So we've got metabolic conditioning workouts in CrossFit. We've got more boot camp style workouts. We've got accessory work. So we talked about how do we want each of those things run? And then of course, a cool down and what we want to talk about there. So a very simple template, just following along with the overarching class layout. Then the next time we have one of these staff developments, we might focus specifically on the warm-up or specifically on cueing. But we thought it was really important to have a lay of the land. So we had this overarching talk. Now we're giving the coaches 30 days to implement this stuff and to make sure that they get reps and practice and understand what we want from them. Because it's not fair to evaluate them unless they've had a chance to take in all of that information in practice. A month from now, we're gonna start our one-on-one evaluations. And that is really, really important. This is something that we need to provide specific feedback and guidance. We need to have an open channel of communication, both so that they can give us feedback on what they feel like they're doing, what's going well, what do they want to see different from us, be that programming, guidance, whatever, but then also so that we can go to them and tell them what we're seeing. And we use a Google form, very simple, and I base it off of our core values. So we've got 5 core values. Each of those core values has subcomponents that we believe contributes to living in line with that value. So they'll get a score 1 to 5 for each of those things. For example, one of our core values is we believe having fun is more important than coming in first. One of the sub items for that core value is using comedy in classes, right? Making people laugh. So we're gonna evaluate them on a 1 to 5 scale. And that's the case for all 5 of the core values. Each one has 5 to 10 bullet points. We're gonna sit down. We're not only gonna give them a quantitative score, but we're gonna talk about how that's going and provide specific guidance and feedback for them. And that will come a month down the line. Next up, we've got our career roadmap meetings. And those are with either myself or my GM. And we start by asking the question, what is your perfect day? So we want to know, what time are you coming to the gym in the morning? What time are you leaving? What time are you working out? When are you eating? How often are you with your family? How many days a week are you working? What hours in a week do you want to work? Right? We need to know all of that stuff to help build people sustainable careers that they are in love with. So we have our staff do that exercise before the meeting and they send it over to us. Once we get an idea of what they are trying to accomplish, our sit down then spells out how. So, okay, we want to make $60,000 this year. We know that you're coaching 10 group classes a week at $30 a class. That's gonna give us roughly $1,200 to $1,500 a month. And that is our base. So based on that, you're gonna have to do X number of personal training sessions, X number of athlete check-in appointments, and this admin work each month in order to get to $5,000 a month and hit your $60,000 a year target. Really important. Sometimes people aren't money motivated, and sometimes 60K or 100K or whatever isn't what drives them. So if that is something that you're dealing with, it took me a long time to figure this out, I guarantee you they will be motivated by things they want to do in their life. So maybe it's taking a vacation, or maybe it's supporting their family, whatever it is. And what we can do is, using that end game goal, reverse engineer it to figure out how much money we're going to need to support that lifestyle. A great book to read before you do these career roadmap meetings is called The Dream Manager. Just an incredible book that tells you how to sit down with staff and help to build plans that accomplish big things in their life. So maybe it's they want to buy a house. If we can reverse engineer and make a step-by-step plan, like you would with a personal training client that's got a 100-pound weight loss goal, right? We don't talk about the 100 pounds, we talk about the next 5 pounds. And that's the case with your coaches too. If they're trying to buy a house, we're not gonna talk about saving $100,000 for a down payment. We're gonna talk about what do we need to do this month so that you can buy a house 12 months or 24 months down the line. So, if you are not training your staff, which, like I said, I was dropping the ball here. I did a great job on sort of vision and mission and overarching guidance and themes, but what I didn't do is specifically give them feedback on how they were coaching. That is something that you need to start, because our members started to notice. I started to notice. And if you expect to be a premium facility, which if you are a boutique gym, you are a premium facility, you need to make sure you deliver on your coaching. Then, to make sure that the coaches know how they're doing and what is possible for them, we need to have these other meetings, these feedback meetings, these check-in meetings, to make sure that we're all walking the same path, everyone is bought in, and we're working closer towards our goals together. So that is how we develop, train, evaluate our staff. If you have any questions about the order, the flow, other ideas on what maybe you could do for staff training, just leave them in the comments below and we will check them out. I hope that that was helpful for you guys. Remember, your coaches, your product is the lifeblood of your business. Make sure that you always remember what is truly important. It's easy to get lost in the weeds. Remember what is truly important. All right, guys, I am Jay Cohen. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, hit that notifications bell so that you don't miss any of the awesome content from Two Brain Business, and I will see you soon.